Join us for the annual Christmas parade Sunday, November 25th at 5 p.m. in Hamilton. Bring the whole family to get into the Christmas spirit. There will be free goodies for the kids and great entertainment for all. Experience new dazzling lights and floats as Santa makes his way along the parade route. Kick off the holiday season Sunday, November 25th at 5 p.m. with the Marketplace 2018 Christmas Parade.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Thursday, the 9th of November. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. The government's agenda for the new legislative session will be unveiled today as His Excellency the Governor John Rankin delivers the 2018 speech from the throne. Government has kept the contents of the speech under wraps, but it's thought the document will contain some aspects of Premier David Byrd's speech delivered at the start of the Progressive Labour Party's Delegates Conference. But according to information reaching Gary Moreno, issues such as reducing health insurance costs, medical cannabis, and reducing energy costs are thought to feature in this year's throne speech. Premier Byrd, along with Finance Minister Curtis Dickinson, recently met with principals of HSBC Bermuda to discuss lowering mortgage rates, and that could well be another feature of the throne speech tomorrow. The usual topics of education, immigration, and tourism are also likely to be addressed, and there could well be the return of a holdover from last year, that being a livable wage. Of course, we'll all simply have to wait and see when all this is revealed tomorrow on the grounds of the Cabinet building, when the governor is expected to begin delivering the throne speech from around 10:30 in the morning. We'll be carrying the event live on all 3 radio frequencies as well as on television from 10 a.m. tomorrow, with Gary speaking to a number of prominent figures about what they hope to hear in this year's throne speech. Gary will also be speaking with Cordell Riley for analysis and some of what the social and political commentator believes will form government's legislative agenda for the new parliamentary session, which convenes tomorrow. And sad news today, as an unresponsive man was found floating in waters near the Shelley Bay Plaza in Hamilton Parish. He was pronounced dead after apparently drowning and has not yet been officially named by police, but we understand the avid fisherman suffered from seizures. Here are the details from the scene earlier today. This is all that's left behind on the rocks: fishing gear, seemingly belonging to a 53-year-old man who sadly lost his life today. His body was discovered in the calm waters off of North Shore Road in Hamilton Parish, just a stone's throw away from the main thoroughway. Police were alerted to a report of a body in the waters by an unknown witness, and emergency services were able to retrieve the man. Scene investigators began questioning anyone who may have seen what happened to the fisherman at around 11 a.m. today. His identity has not been revealed by police. However, we spoke with Selena Trott, the victim's cousin, at the scene.
He loves to fish morning, noon, and night. Sometimes I tell him, listen, your mama was worried last night because you didn't come here and fish. She knows where I am, I'm fishing. That's the love of his life and his passion. So to kind of go doing what you love is a good thing, but we all got to go there.
So what's his name?
Wyman.
So the seizures were not unusual?
No, not unusual as always. Mom said he had one last week, and she had to help him out in the kitchen, so it's something that it has on a regular basis.
It's too early in the investigation to speculate exactly how the victim died. However, we do know the day started out quite normal. A nearby resident told us he did see the man out fishing during his morning run earlier today. However, the man was unable to assist police with his CCTV footage. Police say CPR was performed as he was rushed to hospital. However, despite these life-saving efforts, the 53-year-old man, believed to be a Devonshire resident, was later pronounced dead. Inquiries continue, and anyone with any information regarding this incident is encouraged to call the main police telephone number on 295-0011 at the earliest opportunity. And we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
U.S. Express at Mailbox's members love the fast, friendly service when they bring their online shopping to the island.
I enjoy the service because it's fast and I get my packages in good time, and I like how they shrink it so that you don't have to pay as much, and I get cashback rewards, which are great.
For me, it was about convenience. I work in town, and convenience is the #1 thing.
Sign up for a U.S. Express account at www.mailboxesunlimited.com today.
You can count on us.
Save $1.70 on value pack fresh Purdue chicken thighs with drumsticks, only $1.99 per pound. Butternut, acorn, or spaghetti squash, just $1.99 per pound. Only 99 cents for select varieties of 6-ounce Yoplait yogurt. Juicy savings of $1.16 on ShopRite apple juice. $3.19 for a 64-ounce bottle. Charmin Ultra Strong or soft toilet tissue. $5.19 for a 4-pack roll. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more exciting flyer specials.
You can count on us.
At ProServe, we've got mail. Did you know at ProServe, we handle over 150,000 mail pieces per month. We have a full mail handler's license, secure, centrally located facilities, state-of-the-art digital printing, insertion, franking, and tracking systems. Even full mailroom operations management, along with experienced staff and the reliability to get your job done right. So whether the job is large or small, by hand or sprint pickup delivery, daily, weekly, monthly, or a one-off project, we've got you covered from start to finish with email confirmation. At ProServe, we've got mail. Call 295-7619 or visit proserve.bm and let's get it started.
Welcome back. A former primary teacher at Soltis Grammar School was found to have groomed students and touched them in a sexual manner. That was the outcome of an investigation into allegations dating back 4 decades. An investigation was launched by the school 7 months ago by enlisting the help of an overseas investigation firm, TNN Protection Resources. The firm interviewed 21 witnesses, and based on the reports by 12 former Soltis students, TNM concluded that this teacher engaged in sexually inappropriate touching of students and what they understand as grooming behavior, which included showing favoritism to some students while being unduly punitive to others, instilling fear and uncertainty in his victims. According to the school, while his employment record could not be located, the investigators found that an allegation appears to have come to the school's attention, and the teacher departed shortly thereafter. In a note addressed by Soltis head of school Darren Level and chair of the board of trustees R. Gil Tucker, they assured the public that they have updated policies and practices for health and safety, including staff and faculty screening with police background checks, on-campus safety standards, and boundary guidelines. They add they abide by the official duty to report any allegation or suspicion of abuse involving a child and are also engaged in the SCARS program, which provides ongoing training for faculty and staff. Soltis says they will not give out the identification of the teacher in the interest of protecting the victim. The government is expected to table a bill tomorrow in the House of Assembly putting in place a raft of protections for those who rack up debts. It's called the Debt Collection Act 2018, and if passed by Parliament, would outlaw harassment by bill collectors. Plus, it would restrict the number of times a collector may call a debtor about a bill and ban a creditor from publicizing someone's debt, among other rules. The bill will be tabled by the Deputy Premier, Walter Rabban, who is also the Minister of Home Affairs. He spoke to Bermuda Broadcasting News by phone about the bill.
Actions that may result in information about the person who is the indebtor, their information getting out widely to members of the public who don't need to know that they have had debt issues or not been able to do that, is not going to be allowed. People are going to have to make sure that they're properly licensed if they're going to operate as a debt collector. It means nobody can just come off the street and say, oh, I'm collecting a debt for somebody and not have the appropriate license or like accountability. There are practices. There's going to be accountability for the money that is collected by those who are doing it as well, so that a proper trail, so that persons aren't being unfairly treated even after the debt has been paid, and that there's proper records for accounting for that they have paid their debt and that they aren't on some list where they're still seen as having not paid. Those are some practices that are going to be eliminated as a result of this actual bill.
The Deputy Premier going on to reveal that once consumer debt protection is in place, government will look next to protections from complaints of abuse by banks.
Relief is on its way in that area. That is the next phase of this process. We're dealing now with consumer debt and the practices of dealing with consumer debt collection. When it comes to the whole issues around mortgages and lending of our bank, what people face when they're faced perhaps with being challenged to satisfy their mortgage, and what has unfortunately been an environment that has not been good for those who have had mortgages and have lost their property and perhaps have been treated unfairly. That is the next phase of what we're doing, and that will come next, and we're working with the BMA to set down how that is going to work. The BMA is a supervisory body for the financial services industry, so we will be working with them on drawing up the appropriate regime that is going to manage that situation.
Deputy Premier Walter Aban speaking there with Tarai Trott. Well, Shadow Education Minister Cole Simon says steps must be taken to prevent our schools' principals from burnout, and we must see social promotion. Mike Sharp reports.
Mr. Simon says the Department of Education is insisting on analytics of almost all our students. While this is positive, it is very time-consuming and encroaches on the administration of schools.
I've been talking to a number of people, Mike, and you know, principals are professionals. They make a valued contribution to our community when it comes to education, and they have to be on top of the game. But being realistic, they have to have the time and resources to do an effective job to keep the ministry informed and at the same time manage and administer the schools.
The Shadow Minister says we must halt social promotion at all levels of our school system.
It's come to my attention that, quite frankly, at the beginning of each term, you have teachers basically providing additional remediation and support for students that have come up from the previous year. And some of these students are not prepared for the next level. And so why not? I understand from one teacher that they had to demonstrate to a previous teacher from the previous year, this is the standard that these children should be operating at. They are not operating at this level. So why are you sending them if you know that they can't make it to the next level? You're not doing them any justice.
Mr. Simons had these comments on Education Minister Diallo Robane phasing out middle schools.
Actually, it was in the throne speech last year. And as I've said many times before, if you want to do away with middle schools, build a case. Where are the analytics that support that decision? It's a colossal decision. It's a shift from the current academic system that we have. And so if it's going to be of value to the community, demonstrate why it's going to be of value. Demonstrate why it's not working. What statistics exist to say that middle schools are failing our students?
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Mr. Simon says the Department of Education is insisting on analytics of almost all students. He adds, while this is positive, it is very time-consuming and encroaches on the administration of schools. Weather now, and was it me or did summer make an impromptu return today? Yet we had a few showers to cool us off this evening as we captured another sunset up on Tower Cam. But let's see how long those rain clouds are expected to linger by turning over to AccuWeather.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast here on ZBM is brought to us by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group, and we do have a bit of a squeeze play here as we have low pressure to the south and a trough of also low pressure to the west, and these are kind of converging on us in Bermuda. So for multiple reasons, we will have a little bit of wet weather and maybe even a few thunderstorms in our forecast as we transition into the beginning of the weekend. Here's the visible satellite loop as the sun sets here. You can see the lights go out from east to west, but again, it's not been not a bad day. It's been a pretty nice Thursday, and I hope you got a chance to enjoy it because the trend is shifting, and we will turn wet very soon. Here's the satellite estimated rainfall. Showers to the south, showers to the west. It's kind of converging from both directions. Temperatures are holding around 76. It's been a delightful day. Very nice weather continues for us this evening. We have light winds from the southeast at 5 to 10 knots. No real issues there. Humidity holding at around 82%, pretty steady. Water temp steady at 75 degrees. On the inside, we have waves generally under 2 feet. In some spots, even under 1 foot. On the outside, we have 3 to 6 foot wave heights at this point. Now, the waves will grow as we step deep into Friday. Friday night into Saturday morning, small craft warning will be in effect. Then this is going to be an issue for our boating friends we need to keep a close eye on. The tide is coming in at 8:58. We'll have a high tide tonight. It goes back out into the late night hours. Another high tide at 9:20 Friday morning, and then low tide at 3:47 p.m. on your Friday. So again, just keep that in mind as we get into Friday evening and Friday night. The waves will grow. Tonight, not a bad night. Partly cloudy out there. We'll get down to 70 for your low. And tomorrow is when we begin to see a few showers on the horizon. We'll begin to see clouds increase. Brief showers roll in the afternoon. We'll make it up to around 78 for your high on Friday afternoon. Futurecast shows the squeeze play. We have broad high pressure well off to the east. This area of upper level low pressure to our south, and our trough of low pressure, the front approaching. You can see where the winds are kind of coming in from opposing directions. That is the front, and that's going to be sliding in our direction. And we'll begin to see after midnight tonight, still dry, but into the day on Friday, we begin to see some showers draw near. Just some brief hit or miss showers initially tied to our upper level low pressure system. The front kind of washes out and pulls back to the north. But again, with that in the neighborhood to the north, and especially with upper level low pressure just to the south, we will see some showers out there. Down into the Caribbean, we have some showers in many areas. Lots of clouds out there to Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and Tobago. But the good news here, as it is still officially hurricane season until the end of the month, there are no tropical threats. Into eastern North America, it is chilly and wet and breezy in Toronto and New York and Boston and Atlanta, down to 63 there. Miami looks good. And across the Atlantic to the east, we have London, a little wet at 57 degrees, not too far from the norm. So showers roll in late Friday, scattered showers, then some thunderstorms may be in our forecast on Saturday. A small craft warning Friday night to Saturday morning. Sunday still occasionally wet, then improvements will follow for Monday and for Tuesday. We'll send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
It's hurricane season. Here are some tips from BF&M. Before a storm, make sure you have a family plan. Stock up on food and water and protect your home. Board up and make sure your insurance policies are up to date. After a storm, check everyone's safety, especially seniors. Inspect your property and secure from further damage. Then note the damages, list, and take photos. Remember, you can always count on BF&M 24/7 during hurricane season and all year round.
The year-end clearance sale is now on at Bermuda Motors. Cargo ships bringing our 2019 models will be arriving soon. To make room, we're offering the lowest prices of the year on these models. Ford Figo, our hatchback with cutting-edge technology. Ford EcoSport, big on comfort, safety, and power. Toyota Avenza, the perfect balance of style and function. Toyota Prius C, our fuel-efficient 5-door hybrid. So hurry, prices are available until the end of the year or while our inventory lasts at Bermuda Motors.
Christmas in Bermuda is a special time for most of us. Unfortunately, for some families in Bermuda, there's no warm Christmas. This year, many families will be in need. It's the 30th anniversary of the Lions Clubs of Bermuda and the Marketplace, helping share the Christmas spirit, so let's help take care of each other. Shop at any Marketplace, shopping center, Modern Mart, or A1 stores, and purchase extra tins of non-perishable items. Once you have purchased these items, place your food donation into Santa's bin located at the front of the store. The Lions Clubs will collect your food contributions and assemble them into hampers to be delivered to the families in need around the island. Christmas comes once a year. Help make it a special time for every family in Bermuda. Sponsored in part by the Bermuda Broadcasting Company. Share the Christmas spirit.
From the very beginning, it was always our singular focus to do whatever it takes, use every possible resource to fight cancer, and never lose sight of the patients we're fighting for. Our cancer treatment specialists share the same vision. Experts from all over the world working closely together to deliver truly personalized cancer care. And these are the specialists we're proud to call our own. Expert medicine works here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
Thanks for staying with us. The Bermuda Business Development Agency has just released its first economic impact study. PwC crunched the numbers, which showed that the agency's work added over $26 million to GDP last year. The bulk of that money came from 65 new companies, which have set up on island since 2014, creating 165 jobs. These are companies which the BDA has had a direct hand in attracting from that first contact to setting up an office. Tony Waterman caught up with the BDA interim CEO Sean Moran and asked him about those businesses.
We're talking about companies that really go across all of our main industry pillars, from insurance and reinsurance companies to asset management companies, hedge funds, fund administrators, other fund service providers, law firms. There were some new international law firms that came to the island in 2017, as well as shipping companies, biomed, life science companies, and more recently, technology companies, fintech companies.
Okay, so 65 companies, 165 employees. When you average that out, that's 2.5 employees per company. Is that the type of business that Bermuda wants to be attracting, or do you want a business that comes with a bigger presence, with 10 employees, 20 employees?
Obviously, we'd love to see more in terms of the number of employees, but the companies have to start somewhere. I would also just clarify that these are companies that have incorporated their businesses in Bermuda and are in various stages now of licensing and continuing that process to set up a physical presence. So typically what we've seen is that these companies do set up with a senior level person, an executive, or somebody that may come in on a work permit for a specialized type of service, and then they will look to hire Bermudian people.
And you can catch that entire interview on The Breakdown with Tony Waterman tonight at 8 o'clock on ZBM TV9. A poignant reminder now of why Monday is a public holiday. Remembrance Day salutes those servicemen and women who lost their lives in wartime. This year marks the centenary of the signing of the armistice, which ended World War I. Gary Foster Skelton went to the Anglican Cathedral site of a special salute to Bermuda's veterans.
It's a quirk of humanity that we create beautiful things to remember the most brutal of sacrifices. Immortalized in the newly restored south transept window of the Anglican Cathedral, a soldier and a sailor of the First World War, flanked by warrior angels and martyrs, Ethiopian St. Maurice, French St. Joan of Arc, British St. Alban and others, casting their colours on the Warrior Chapel, where the names of Bermuda's war dead are listed.
The window was commissioned in 1922, and the purpose behind the window was that it would be Bermuda's national war memorial to their dead of the Great War, 1914-1918. The whole point about the ensemble is that it depicted all of the Allies, and it also depicted men of every race, creed, and colour. And irrespective of who or what they were, they died together in the unspeakable conditions of the trenches in the First World War.
The memorial window will be rededicated at a 4 p.m. service on Saturday, in time for the centenary of the end of the First World War on Sunday. Its restoration during the last 12 months cost over $130,000. But the stained glass is not all that will be on display.
The BMA, I think there were just over 200 of them who went off under the command of my great-grandfather, Thomas Melville Dill. And we, going through my great-grandfather's effects, we came across a whole bunch of little photographs, pictures. So from this little thing here, we've got this amazing picture. And as you look at it, you can see the faces of lots of Bermudian men who decided to go off to war in 1916. And this is taken the day before they left. I think it's the 30th of July. So Joe Watlington was my grandmother's brother, and at the age of 19 signed up for the BVRC and left to go to war with them in 1915. And this is his letter of acceptance into the Royal Flying Corps. Started his first flying, I think it was on the 23rd of June, And 2 weeks later, he was shot out of the sky, as it were, and died. So
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
On display alongside these reminders of Bermudian bravery will be the original sketches by Welsh artist and First World War soldier Maurice Meredith Williams, who designed the Warrior Chapel window with his wife Alice. And you can also see the haunting artwork of soldiers who, while in the trenches, chiselled beauty into the metal of used artillery shells. As the centenary draws nearer, the Great War can seem further and further behind us. But here at the cathedral, there are tangible pieces of history that can help to connect us with the ancestors, the men who fought and died that we might live. Gary Foster Skelton for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
What a grand way to keep those memories alive. An extended version of this story is available on the Bermuda Broadcasting Facebook page. Still to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes.
Check out the great products at our $4 Depot stores. Party bags, candles, soaps, and a variety of health and beauty items, even candy. A number of kitchen items, aluminum baking pans, an assortment of socks in various sizes, even baby products. A choice of items for only $2.50 each. Stop by any of our 4 stores today. The Dollar Depot, stretching your dollars further.
I'm Tony Waterman. Coming up on The Breakdown this week. Sustainable investing. Investors putting their money behind companies doing social good. But how profitable is it? We'll find out. It receives millions of dollars in government funding. So what sort of return on investment does the Bermuda Business Development Agency produce? I have an interview with interim CEO Sean Moran. Plus, what's all the buzz about?
It sounds like a computer.
The tourism app unlocking some of the most bespoke experiences on island. A sit-down with Winnow co-founder Allison Swan. That's Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
Earl Basin has the latest from the sports desk.
Bermuda's under-20 men's national team went down to St. Lucia in their 3rd match of the CONCACAF qualifiers in Florida. Coach Ray Jones summed up the match this way.
Today's result a bit disappointing. I thought today we controlled the match from start to finish. Much better quality possession, build up, created enough chances to win the match. So very disappointed not to have not won, but we still haven't registered a goal. And I thought today we definitely should have came out with not just a goal, a few goals, and the 3 points. So from here, trying to lift the boys up, got one more game to try and register both of them and come away with a positive. So less than 36 hours to make that happen. So right now the staff assessing injuries and revitalizing the players as much as we can physically and mentally. And hopefully on Friday we'll have something to smile about at the end of the match.
Dennis Joe and June Deal were back in action representing Bermuda at the 54th World Cup of Bowling in Las Vegas. In the ladies division, Dill is currently holding down the 34th spot out of 72 bowlers. Dill had a top game of 234 pins. She has a total of 3,023 pins. Joe ended day 2 in 66 out of 84 competitors in the men's division. Joe has a high game of 214 and has a total of 2,898 pins from 16 games. Gold medalist at the 12th Pan American Wushu Championships in Argentina, Krista Daya reveals what drives her to be so competitive.
I'm a super competitive person. I always have been, whether I'm playing Monopoly or obviously fighting on the Lei Tai. I'm competitive with obviously my opponents, but very much with myself. And I always just want to do a little bit better every time I step forward for a new challenge. So that's what drives me.
A total of 44 points were scored in the first semi-final night at the National Sports Center as the Bermuda World Rugby Classic continued. In the main semi-final, in a tightly contested match, Ireland, who have not played in the Classic for some 25 years, advanced to the final with a 3-point win over Canada 10-7. Ireland will get on the board first in the first half with a try from Gary Brown. Fergal Campion would kick the conversion from an angle to make the score 7-0. Early in the second half, the Canadian crowd would come alive when Tyler Hawes went over for a try and Derek Daypock kicked the conversion that drew the team's level at 7-7. As time was drawing to an end, Campion would take a chance and kick a penalty from a distance, and it was good for Ireland to lead 10-7. The Barclay Institute won the Bermuda School Sports Federation's senior school boys double at the six-a-side championship at Shelley Bay yesterday. Barclay Gold claimed the over-16 title after defeating Cedar Bridge Academy Blue 3-0 in the final. Jess Butterfield scored in the first half, while halftime substitute Zaire Smith added a double in the second. Barclay also claimed the under-16 division after defeating Salters Grammar 2-0 in the final. Sakai Tatum scored a goal on either side of halftime to lead his team to victory. Maha Clark and her Queen's University of Charlotte field hockey teammates played their final regular season home game and fell 9-6 to number 10th ranked Limestone College.
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
And I'm Jasmine Patterson. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.